Sorry, I was on mute. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here today to talk about how Medianet's new media monitoring platform puts you in charge. I'm Mercedes Carrin. I'm the head of marketing at Medianet, and I'm here today with two very impressive women, total experts in the field of media analysis and media monitoring. So please say hello to Sally Chadwick. Hello, Sally. She's our head of media intelligence. She's the lead and product guru in all things media intelligence, media data, media monitoring, and she was formerly the head of our media analysis team. And here is Jacquie. Hello, Jacquie. Jacquie Hanna, she is the head of insights and strategy at Medianet, and she currently leads our award-winning media analysis team. Both Jacquie and Sally are masters when it comes to analyze and interpret data and extract truly valuable insights from media monitoring data. So together we will show you how Medianet's new media monitoring platform, which was announced last October, solves many challenges faced by media and PR professionals today with existing media monitoring solutions and brings world-leading features to the table you should all know about. So before we pass on to Sally and Jacquie, I will first give you a quick introduction to our media monitoring solution. If you have any questions, please leave them on the question panel and we will get to them at the end of the session. Also hang in until the end in about 25 minutes to hear about how you can get your hands on a significant discount on media intelligence subscriptions at Medianet. So, Medianet launched its media monitoring solution in October last year. Why? Why did we do that? Because we want to shake things up and bring to the market a solution that truly works for communications and PR professionals and bring back control into their hands, or should I say in your hands. Medianet's solution is packed with incredible features that makes users' job easier, faster, and smarter. So here are a few of them. First of all, the most distinctive from other platforms out there is the search functionality, which you can fully control. With this platform, you get to create and edit as many searches as you need without the need to have a third party do it for you. So for those moments where changes or new searches are needed in a short period of time, you are in control of those searches. The next one is automated dashboards to which you have access from the moment you create your first search. The dashboard gives you a snapshot of insights quickly about your media activity, such as sentimental voices, article outlets talking about the keywords that you are searching for, timeline of media coverage, and other organizations mentioned in your search. Another unique feature that really excites me is the integration with media outreach tools. When you see a journalist article within your search, you get to dig deeper and click through to detailed information about that reporter, for example, and other articles written by that reporter or that outlet. This streamlines and makes you more effective in understanding not only what is being said, but who is saying it. And last but not least are the easy to build alerts and curated reports. Your search powers not only the dashboards, but the ability to receive alerts and when your set criteria is met, and to share reports with your key stakeholders by email. So that's enough from me. Jacquie, Sally, I want people definitely to hear from you. So I'm going to ask you like an ice-breaking question first. I want to know what feature makes you most excited as a media expert in terms of taking control back of media monitoring data. So let's start with Sally.
Thanks, Mercedes. I think I would just definitely say the search functionality for sure is my favorite feature because it really is the starting point to unlock all of the insights on our platform.
Right. Thank you for that. I'm sure we'll hear more about that soon. And Jackie, how about you?
I love all the features, Mercedes, but I have to say the in-platform automated sentiment metrics, which I'll unpack a little bit down the line, I have to say that's really exciting for me. It's a bit of a game changer for the media intelligence and monitoring industry.
Fantastic. Okay, so we'll definitely hear more of that as well. So, Sally, you mentioned search functionality before. Tell me more about what went into creating this platform and what challenges does it tackle for PR and corporate communications professionals.
Absolutely. And yeah, we basically, our purpose with building this platform was to really, meet those challenges that the PR and comms space has every day. And I think one of those key challenges was really having all of the tools to obtain accurate and meaningful insights on media coverage all in one place and really having that in your control. And the reason that this is challenging, I think, is because meaningful insights can mean different things to different organizations. It can really depend on the audience that you have, on your stakeholder group, whether that's an internal stakeholder group or an external stakeholder group. It can depend on, what you're monitoring and measuring. For example, are you looking to measure your media coverage over a longer period of time and get some strategic longitudinal insights, or are you looking at specifically monitoring a campaign or an announcement or an issue or a crisis if that does arise? And so it was with this in mind that we built the Medianet monitoring platform to really meet those varying and various needs. And as you mentioned, Mercedes, the ability monitoring searches is entirely in the hands of the user. So rather than relying on an account manager to create and maintain a search for you, you can really easily jump in and build and edit that search at any time. So in a practical sense, this means that our clients can, create an ongoing, always listening search that's monitoring your own coverage, for example, but you can also jump in at any time and create a dedicated campaign search or, a search that's on a particular topic that might be emerging. And what's great is you can turn them on and off at any point as well. When you don't need it, you can turn it off. And so you might also have, a new spokesperson or a new CEO. So you can jump in and add that name to a search immediately, and the search will adjust and listen to that as well. So it really means that you're monitoring, the what and how you monitor is as agile and as flexible as you need it to be. And then further to that, when Medianet monitoring, where our platform can really elevate your insights, is the ability to do both brand monitoring and media monitoring.
Okay, so what do you mean there? What is the difference between brand monitoring and media monitoring?
So essentially brand monitoring, in the industry speak, brand monitoring relates to the monitoring of your own coverage, your own mentions. And essentially, did you get the coverage, yes or no? Or what was your coverage? Whereas media monitoring encompasses like a broader purpose. So that does obviously include brand monitoring, but it also includes the listening and the capture of competitor coverage, of stakeholder coverage, and broader, industry issues and conversations. Because, you can create as many searches as you want in the platform and really have the freedom to properly monitor the conversations and influences and influencers around your own organization. So the platform really enables you to be across and aware of this coverage that helps your own decision making. But honestly, as excited as we are at Medianet about our new monitoring platform, the capture of clips in its most basic sense, or the capture of media coverage, sometimes isn't that exciting, but it is the insights that you can obtain from them where it gets really interesting and meaningful for our clients. Not all mentions are created equal. Some are more important than others, and some are more impactful. So we have, on-platform smart insights and metrics that help extract and decipher the so what behind your media coverage.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sally. It's definitely the smart insights that make all the difference. Jacquie, I'm going to you now. So one of those smart insights often come from analyzing sentiment of coverage. And you mentioned earlier that this is one of the things that you worked on and you are most excited about. So you lead a team of human analysts, and your team analyze sentiment all the time for our Medianet Insight clients. So what is this automated sentiment that you're talking about? What, can it be automated? Is it accurate if it's automated?
Great question. For those of you, I'm sure most of you are familiar with sentiment, but it is a qualitative metric. So it does normally rely on human analysts in order to get a really accurate and meaningful evaluation of the tone of coverage. So yes, at Medianet Insights, we have a team of human analysts, and they are media and communications experts with a very comprehensive knowledge of the media landscape and different sectors that operate within Australia. So our team will normally manually review every media item mentioning your brand. This could be a newspaper or an online clip, or it could be a radio or television segment. And now look at whether the mention has a positive, neutral, or negative tone towards your brand. And this has been typically done by humans.
Right. So given that you need humans to, analyze sentiment, but obviously your team does analyze a lot more things than sentiment. But so how did you automate sentiment then, given that you normally rely on humans for this?
Well, the short answer is yes, you can automate it. But the longer answer is yes, but you really can't do it alone. So a lot of people take automation for granted and assume that if you plug in some rules, prompts, bit of data, AI will seamlessly produce accurate results. But if you really want to develop accuracy and reliability within your metrics, it is more complex. So you do need to have strong technical support, whether this is in-house or through a strategic partnership. You need a robust feedback process, and you have to be prepared to put in the time, determination, and the patience. And above all, you need to ensure that your human experts, your human analysts, are at the center of this process. So our analysts would review what outputs came from the AI models in tandem, and we would provide line-by-line feedback on incorrect results, patterns that we discerned, and more rules that we could develop to improve the accuracy. Across the period of about 9 months, we completed this little to and fro dance at least 10 times, probably more.
That's
the
a lot
outcome,
of dancing.
however, it's a lot. There was a lot of dancing. The outcome was an automated sentiment rating that was modeled off our human intelligence. And this was currently is sitting at an accuracy level of 75% or higher. So just for context, the industry standard is sitting on 60%. We're on 75%. And this is actually just our starting point. Thanks to our sophisticated machine learning technique, the accuracy is going to improve the more media coverage that it ingests and the more rules and quality assurance that we overlay.
That's right. Okay. So, and in what other ways does does our platform compare, or our sentiment analysis compare to other monitoring providers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of platforms will contain some level of automated sentiment analysis. Where we differ is that our ratings are bespoke and proprietary. So we custom built this. We didn't just add an extension or an add-on and then put the data through that. It wasn't a preset generic solution. So a lot of work went into this. We're also very clear on our methodology and transparent around the quality assurance process. So as I said, we're currently sitting on 75% or higher, and we plan to improve this. And we'll be very transparent around the feedback loop between our insights analysts, the AI model, our sort of cadence of quality assurance, and our analysts will be continually improving the accuracy and the reliability of these metrics. So it is a very robust metric. We also have a world-first entity-level sentiment rating. So we have article-level sentiment, which is highly accurate, and we've also developed entity-level sentiment. So our platform will contain this alongside article sentiment, and this enables you to delve even more deeply into the impact of your mention. Put simply, this refers to the tone or sentiment of coverage as related to your specific brand or an organization, as opposed to the overall tone of the article.
That's incredible that we can actually differentiate between the two. So how can entity level sentiment ratings help the user, PR, comms professionals? How is it different again from article sentiment?
It is a good question, and there is a difference. So a good example is, let's say you're working for a big supermarket brand, retail company, Woolies, for example, and you've seen a spike in media coverage volumes. So navigating to our dashboards, you can see at an article level sentiment, which looks at the overall tone of coverage, it's not a good news story. So the coverage itself is quite negative. When you have a look more closely, you can see that the reason that the article level sentiment, the sort of tone or the sort of vibe around the issue, it's related to an inquiry into the supermarket sector. So this is explaining already you have a little bit of an insight as to what's going on and why negative coverage is so high. Here's where entity sentiment will take you one layer further. So with all of our traditional media coverage, you can look at a detailed view of every single item. These detailed views will, through our AI technology, surface the leading 3 entities within that particular media item. And what's more is that they'll have their own individual entity sentiment rating, which may differ from the overall tone because this is related to their organisation, their brand. So say, for example, there's a lot of negative coverage about an inquiry, but you notice that Aldi and Coles are actually receiving positive mentions within this coverage alongside you. Right away, within about 5 minutes of opening up a detailed article view, you already have a strategic insight and you already have something that's going to help you take action from our platform's insights.
Okay, so just to clarify, an entity could be a person, could be an organization. What could that be?
Yeah, an entity essentially refers to a brand, organization, or an individual. So within our platform, it's organizations or individuals will be surfaced in a sort of detailed view, and they will all have a corresponding entity level sentiment rating based on the tone of their mention within that article.
Right. Okay. Well, that's incredible work there. Not only automating sentiment analysis, but also, taking it to the next level with entity level analysis. Now, I want to make sure that we have enough time for questions. But before we go there, I want to ask Sally one more question. So we were talking before about smart insights. We're talking a lot about sentiment, obviously. But in media monitoring platforms, those smart insights sometimes are hard to find, and we see more of those like vanity metrics, which can completely dominate a dashboard, for example, with like things like number of mentions by media type, and you often have like a lot of charts with, they don't often help much. So what is, I hear a lot about the dichotomy between vanity and value metrics. What are thoughts on this, and is it possible to truly get insightful metrics in a media monitoring platform? How can we leap out of vanity metrics?
Yeah, great question. The eternal struggle in the media intelligence space, I think. And I think also vanity metrics is often sort of seen as a bit of a dirty word. And I'm sure Jackie can attest to that. Because I think it's sort of often unfairly conflated or lumped together with the term quantitative metrics. And I don't think that's really fair. Quantitative metrics are actually really important and can be really useful. So, for example, the number of mentions or volume of coverage that you get in comparison to your peers and competitors is actually a really important measure. How does that vary month on month is really important to see. However, if this quantitative count is the only measure of performance, then that's when it turns into vanity metrics. So if your organization was mentioned in 100 media items for the month, that's great, but what was the sentiment or the nature of that coverage? And that really speaks to what Jackie was talking about before about, the article and the entity level sentiment that we have that helps provide the context and the quality of coverage. And this all sort of relates to letting the data tell you something as opposed to you looking for a particular answer or outcome that you think you might, be able to find. And this is what we've tried to do with our on-platform dashboards, where we've created a curated selection and collection of quantitative and qualitative metrics and insights that help decipher the data and uncover trends and activity that you may not be aware of. So, for example, one of my hero charts or favorite charts that we have is what we call the other organizations in this search chart. And it's a perfect example of letting the data tell you something. It's a really unique chart we haven't seen it anywhere else before. And it's really important to distinguish this from a simple share of voice measure. Because what it's actually doing is using the AI smart analysis that we have to surface the top 5 organizations that have been mentioned across a search. And top 5 is determined based on the number of times an organization might be mentioned, but it's also identifying the contextual importance of those mentions. So essentially the prominence of that coverage. Which is really, really exciting. So it's not a share of voice. We're looking at the leading organizations that have been mentioned alongside you or in relation to a particular issue that you've created a search for.
I want to highlight what you just said before about letting the data tell you something, as well as you looking for something in the data. So many times we don't know what we don't know, right? And there's so much value in charts like these. So that's amazing.
Yeah, well, exactly. So this chart can really alert you to organizations that you may not expect to be mentioned alongside you, or it can alert you to competitors that are getting more prominent coverage than yourself. An example of that, could be, you're a bank and you've set up a monitoring search on coverage related to the cost of living, because that's a really important issue that you want to be across the discourse and the conversation around. And so you could use the top 5 organizations chart to see who are the most prominent organizations being mentioned in relation to this issue. And what's really great about this chart is that all of the charts on our dashboards, in fact, are interactive, so that you can click through to read the media mentions behind those results to really validate and find more information. But this chart can really help you understand who are the thought leaders in this cost of living space, for example, and is there an opportunity to leverage your brand to provide a different point of view on the topic, or more different messages to the journalists that are covering it. Or in contrast, the chart might help you identify organizations that are getting a lot of negative coverage regarding an issue, and this could in turn inform your own strategy and decisions for a similar issue that might come up. So I think this chart really demonstrates how our on-platform insights can really help clients be informed by data-driven insights on platform, which is really exciting for us.
Amazing, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go to questions very soon. I just want to point out a couple of things that were mentioned, just as a little recap. So first of all, Medianet now being a fully integrated solution allows you to have outreach and monitoring tools in one place. As Sally said, it was made with the objective of giving communications and PR professionals a way to obtain accurate and meaningful insights on media coverage, but with an important distinction, which is it can vary. What is meaningful can vary, can be different from organization to organization. And the key is that you can tailor the solution to be meaningful and valuable to you and your specific challenges and objectives. So it does that by giving you full control of your search, like we discussed, giving you a good balance of quantitative and qualitative metrics, of which are both needed and important. And it gives you the opportunity to dig deeper, not only into outreach data, but into sentiment data, letting you, let the data tell you something that you were not necessarily looking for. That is mainly how this solution puts monitoring back into your control. Now I'm going to go into questions. Let me just quickly have a look here what we have. Can we see a live demo is one of the questions here. Sally, you want to take that one? I think you're on mute.
My bad, classic. There you go. Yeah, you can definitely see a live demo. So you can definitely jump onto our website and book in a demo with one of our account managers, and they can really take you through the platform, walk you through all the features, and see how it could work for you. So definitely you can see live demos, and even free trials as well are available.
I will definitely point that out at the end of the webinar. I have another question here. So I always find myself spending hours sifting through irrelevant mentions. That we definitely hear about that a lot. Is this something that your platform can address? Maybe who can take that one? Jacquie?
Yes, absolutely. So I think, as Sally outlined, our search functionality, it's very intuitive, and it does have sort of very simple filters that help you to remove anything that isn't actually relevant to your search. We also have a preview panel. So when you start to put in your search terms and when you start to put in potential exclusions, you can actually see in real time what the results are. So you're able to sort of interrogate the relevancy and the accuracy of your results before you actually hit save and start gathering your clip. So yes, there's a lot of flexibility in that regard.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Jacquie. Another question here. Another challenge we face is when we exceed our quota on a search and we need to run a different search, but we can't. Can we build a limited number of searches? I think you have mentioned that before, Sally, but I think there's something more that you could add to that.
Yeah, absolutely. So no matter what sort of plan level you might be on, you can have an unlimited number of searches. It just depends, we have volume allowances depending on plan level, but obviously we understand that, media is not constant, media coverage isn't constant, your needs as an organization in relation to what you want to monitor is not constant, and, coverage ebbs and flows, you get peaks and troughs, you might have a campaign or an issue comes up. And so we've designed our plans to really respond to that. So we have volume boosts that are available at each plan level, which allows you to activate. So if you know you're going to have a big spike in coverage, or even, after a spike has occurred, you can activate your volume boost, which gives you an extra sort of, boost of allowance that month for your coverage so that you can continue to listen. But you don't need to, pay ongoing for, higher volumes for that one, that 1 or 2 times a year that you get those higher volumes of coverage. The plans really are flexible in that way to sort of turn them on and off.
Fantastic. Okay, and I'll do one more question for Jacquie. What kind of reports can you build with the platform?
Absolutely. So, of course, we have a reporting functionality. So we do have the sort of standard newsletters that you can set up and curate. You can select specific mentions if you want to send a specific group of media coverage to the C-suite or your manager or the media team. You can also select searches. And so there is a lot of sort of curation that you can do with our newsletters and our mention reports. And we also have alerts as well. And I think that's where the sentiment becomes quite useful with alerts as well. So you can set an alert up so that you can find out as soon as new items have come through as related to one of your searches, or if there's a particular spike or a drop as related to one of your searches. So these alerts are fantastic. One level deeper is you can actually filter this by sentiment. So a lot of organizations really want to be across issues as they arise, and our alert system will enable you to do this now. So you can set up an alert system that will send you just negative items related to a particular search, and you can have that hitting your inbox first thing in the morning, so you're already prepared with what the issues of the day are. And in contrast, if you have a proactive announcement or a big campaign coming out, you can set up a positive filtered search. So as soon as that really positive highlight coverage as a result of your activities has kind of hit the media, you'll be informed, and then you can spread the good news with everyone. So these alerts are really, really fantastic, a really good way to get that sentiment into your inbox as soon as it hits the Australian public.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we are 1 minute to go, so let me do a little bit of a wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope we gave you a lot of information about, that it's useful to you. I will recommend highly that you connect on LinkedIn with these two lovely ladies here, very smart. We can answer any questions after the webinar, so do please get in touch. I said that there was a very, appealing offer at the end of this webinar. So yeah, if you scan the code on the screen, it will take you to, a page where you can request a demo, as Sally mentioned, but also there are very significant discounts in place, up to 35% off media monitoring as a launch offer. So yeah, take advantage of that. and you get to see the platform in more detail. So yeah, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Until the next one.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mercedes.
Thank you.